Hey everyone, so this is Catfish, Season 6, Episode 4, titled Telizza and Shai. Telizza wrote in, wanting help with a girl named Shai that she's been talking to for like the last year and a half. Telizza is 18 and living in Chicago. She just graduated from high school. And she also just ended a long-term relationship with her ex-boyfriend, where he had cheated on her. I'm not sure if it was multiple times or just once, but by the way, I'm sorry if it sounds very, very windy. I'm outside right now. Anyway, so after she broke up with her boyfriend, Shai messaged her on Facebook and snapped her depression. One of her friends told her after a while, after she been talking to Shai for a while, that there's something fishy about Shai's profile. And even though Telizza is a really suspicious person usually, she and her friend noticed they had Google searched her photos, and none of them, no hits came up. And then Telizza noticed Shai would dodge a lot of personal questions and would never video chat. So basically, the telltale sign is that if they don't want to video chat, then something's definitely up. So Nev and Max, after having read her email, Skype called her, and we find out Telizza is not just contacting Catfish because she's worried that her friend Shai is catfishing her, but that she's in love with Shai. So we find out Shai lives in Kansas City with her mom and is 17. We also find out Telizza and her friend, this is where we find out that Telizza and her friend Google searched Shai's photos and didn't find anything. So Nev and Max then go to Chicago and go to Telizza's house, and they meet Antonise, Telizza's friend, who suspected Shai is the catfish. Antonise is feeling some type of way because Telizza isn't talking to her anymore, and so at this point I was thinking, because I thought it was someone that Telizza knew, that it was either Antonise or Shai's, Shai, or it was her ex-boyfriend who was cheating on her. And then they look at the text between the two of them and all that stuff. Nev and Max then go to a cafe to investigate, check the pictures for themselves, and don't find any hits on any of them. They didn't check the phone number, and it comes up to Caney, Kansas, which is nowhere near Kansas City, which is in Missouri. It's just over the state line in Missouri. It's a landline, or meaning a texting app. So they then check Shai's profile. It says on there on August 17th that she supposedly started working at a stripper bar. So they then call the bar to check it out, and the woman there says that no one by Shai's name works there. So they go to Shai's friends list, and Antonise is one of them. That furthered my suspicion that Antonise was the person who was Shai, behind Shai. So they then have Telizza come over and to the cafe or the coffee shop, and immediately they ask if it's possible for Antonise to be into her, and she says no. Right after that, like two seconds after he's finished his sentence, she's like no. But apparently her family thinks it's possible that Antonise is into her. Okay. So they then tell Telizza what they found out, and then reach out to Shai. Nev only gets Shai's voicemail, and so he leaves a voicemail. Shai then calls Telizza and says eventually she will meet up with them. And after the call, Max says, "You know it isn't Antoni's." I'm like, "Oh, sweet boy, you literally had 2 cases that I can remember vividly, where the person that was catfishing the person who wrote in was disguising their voice." First one that I remember was when it was the cousins, and the guy had called his girl cousin a fat ass Kelly Price. So I should not be laughing, but anyway, so she did the Antoine voice, or whatever it was, or the Tony voice. It was the Tony voice. She said it was the Tony voice, and so that was one. And the other one was literally just last week, where the guy, Jose, sounded like a girl, and made himself sound like a girl. So there was cases where the person who is acting all sketchy and shit disguises their voice. So it's perfectly possible for Antoni's to disguise her voice. I mean, it clearly didn't turn out that way, but I'm just like, at this point, I was just like, when Max said that, I was like, boy, you literally had just the previous week where a person disguised their voice, and also there was another one a few years back where the girl disguised her voice. So it's perfectly reasonable for Antoni to disguise her voice. So I'm just like, I need you to miss me with that, Max, because usually you're more on top of the shit. Usually. I mean, of course, it didn't turn out to be Antoni's, like I said, but, like, come on. So next day, they make the way to the airport, but Shai contacts them and says, and asks them if they're really coming, and she's literally like, "Yes, we are." So she's like, "I'm sorry, I lied to you. I'm not really in Kansas City. I'm really in New York." And so Max calls Shai, or the person who's pretending to be Shai, and they're nervous that she's lying to them again. So once they got the phone and go to the airport, continue to drive to the airport, they speculate that she isn't in Kansas City or New York. So there's that. Once in New York, they go to the spot where Shai texted to meet her at. And the girl there is clearly not the girl in the pictures. Her name is Makita. And she made the Shai page to catch her boyfriend cheating, her ex-boyfriend cheating. She doesn't. They don't go any further as to if it was actually successful or not. But she doesn't. She says at first she doesn't have any feelings for Telizza or any of the girls for that matter. And then they continue to talk, and then she's like trying to get more information from her, but they don't really get anywhere. So they leave. In the car, Telizza's like, "Well, I can't be with someone who isn't into her," which I can understand. I don't know if I would be with someone who's clearly lying to me, whether or not they're actually into me or not. I don't know. I wouldn't know. Regardless of whether they're into me or not, I don't know if I can be with someone who's been lying to me. Lying about what you look like is a big thing to me. It's a big ass deal to me. So I don't know if I can be with someone who's lying about something that big, let alone whether or not they're actually into me. That's a far off thought to me at this point in time. Anyways, the next day, Makita comes to the hotel instead of them going to her. And so Telizza's like, "Well, are you actually into me or not?" Makita's like, "Well, yes, I am." And that she just lied before. And she didn't tell her friends that she had feelings for the girl because they're really apparently extremely judgmental. And she didn't tell her mom about it because she's super religious. So that's basically the entire episode. 6 months later, Makita is spending the weekend with Telizza in Chicago. Telizza has already started. started college. Makita is going to go off to college in the fall, all that stuff. And then, so next week on Catfish, Marvin is talking to a guy named Austin. Austin is apparently a model, and that's clearly one of the red flags, because there have been numerous cases where the catfisher has pretended to be a model when clearly they weren't. Like, they took pictures from someone who's the person in the pictures is actually a model, and just pretended that they themselves were a model, and clearly they weren't. So there's someone filling in for Nev. I didn't say who it was in the promo, but apparently they're filling in for Nev. I think this was back when his girlfriend at the time, or I guess fiance at the time, or still fiance, or whatever, had their baby. So I'm assuming that's why she's filling in, because at the time Nev's girlfriend / fiance was having the baby, and Nev wanted to be on paternity leave for a little bit. So I'm assuming that's why there's a guest host. Since clearly I was wrong about the person who was catfishing Telizza being someone that Telizza knew, I will go even further and say that I'll continue that prediction to next week, and say the person Marvin is talking with is actually someone that he knows. Because I mean, it's still a viable option. I still think that it could possibly still be him, or still be someone that he knows. And I will go even further and say it's someone that's trying to play a prank on him. Because apparently things are getting sexual between them and between him and Austin and shit. So I'm gonna say that they're doing this just to get back at Marvin for whatever reason. I don't know. Maybe because Marvin isn't completely out to his friends and family yet, and the person that he was in a previous relationship wanted to be out with him, but Marvin wouldn't do it. I don't know. That's all just speculation. But I'm assuming that the person that is catfishing him, Marvin knows, and that they're doing it because Marvin wronged them in some way. That's just me. So that is all I have for this week, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.